Hello, welcome to the sixth and last video of this video training course. On this video, we'll talk about basic steps how to solve problems on an LNB in case of a failure. Also, we're going to show a couple of scenarios on common problems and basic troubleshooting guidelines. Let's start. LNB installation and troubleshooting, Chapter 5. First, we recommend to check the LNB installation. Internally, the wavehead attachment between the feed horn and the LNB has a groove where the gasket is installed. Making sure the gasket is installed inside the groove and is not pinched or damaged is important. Otherwise, any water getting into the wavehead can attenuate, distort, or block any signal coming to the LNB. It is also important to make sure that the LNB is properly attached to the feed horn with all screws installed and tightened, ensuring that the tight attachment and to avoid any water to enter the waveguide. The next step is to inspect the coaxial cable. The cable should not have any water corrosion inside the connector terminals, as illustrated in the photo. When reinstalled, the conductor should be properly tightened to ensure proper connectivity to avoid additional losses due to inadequate contact. It is important to verify that the cable has a protector O-ring to avoid any water getting into the internal connections. If not, it is highly recommended to seal it with an adequate tape externally. Once the installation has been verified, inspecting the adequate inputs to the LNB to function properly are the next steps. The LNB require an input voltage through the coaxial cable to power up all internal electronics. Making sure that the equipment that the LNB is connected is supplying this voltage within the acceptable LNB range is important. Typically, it is between 15 and 24 volts, but in some LNB models, it might vary. To confirm that the LNB is powered up, the equipment might have a current consumption sensor. Check the typical current consumption of an LNB in the specification sheet. If the current is very low or close to 0 milliamp, it means that the LNB is not powered up. On the other hand, if the current is too high, it might mean that there might be a short circuit. The LNB has a defined frequency range. If there are any problems receiving a signal in the satellite receiver, verify that the LNB frequency range and the parameters in the satellite receivers match. It is crucial to verify that other LNB parameters such as phase noise, LO stability, noise figure, gain, and VSWR are adequate for the type of signal that is used by comparing them to the minimum requirements of the satellite receiver, such as SNR, modulation scheme, and signal level. Ensuring that the LNB inputs does not have any water ingress is crucial. Check for the damages, moisture, or water residues, as well as the condition of the gaskets on the feed horn window or waveguide joints. Next step is to check the condition of the coaxial cable. No desired losses can be a result of cable damage or inadequate cable performance. Check for the damages along the cable and the physical condition of the connectors and proper sealing in case they are installed outdoors. Long cables can add high attenuation. Check the cable specification to know the expected attenuation loss by frequency and length to ensure that the signal at the satellite equipment is still within the operational range of the equipment. Some LNBs require an external reference in order to do the down conversion. If this reference is missing, the LNB will not do a down conversion and the signals will not be outputted. Make sure that the satellite equipment is providing this reference if an external reference LNB is used. On multi-band LNBs, it is important to supply a specific voltage in addition to the 22 kHz tone to select a specific band. Check the band range and that the LNB required a voltage and tone settings, and make sure that the satellite equipment is properly supplying them to the LNB. Some symptoms such as signal distortion or interferences could only be observed by analyzing the spectrum. If available, connect the spectrum analyzer to check the signal condition. To confirm that the LNB is not overloaded by excessive input signal, a power medium can be used to ensure that the LNB is not saturated and causing signal distortion. Here are a couple of common scenarios and some potential checks to resolve them. I'm not getting any output power from my LNB. What's wrong? For LNBs, there are an internal and external reference. Both types require DC voltage through the coaxial cable, but external reference LNBs will require an additional 10 mH as reference. For simultaneous LNBs, they have to be powered up separately by applying DC voltage on both output connectors. My transmit-receive secrecy is not what I am expecting. What's going on? Make sure that the downlink signal is within the range of the LNB and that the output signal is within the range of the satellite equipment. Note that on multi-band LNBs, the LO will change depending on the band is selected by the input voltage and the tone. Make sure the satellite equipment is supplying the correct voltage and tone to select the desired LNB LO. For external reference LNBs, 10 MHz reference will be necessary for proper operation. The power requirement of the 10 MHz reference is between -5 to 5 dBm. The accuracy of the translated frequency will depend on this external frequency. How do I prevent water, sand, and other environmental elements from permeating the waveguide? Ensure installation. Ensure that the O-ring is correctly installed in all the joints. If there is a protective tape on all the openings on the components, please ensure the tape is intact. It is recommended to have a weatherproof protective tape outside of the connectors on the LNB. How can I tell if my component is working? A working component will draw an appropriate amount of current from whichever input is supplying the DC voltage. LNBs should draw between 100 and 200 mA. For more information, please check the typical current consumption on the specification sheet. That concludes our LNB training session. If you have any questions or suggestions, please visit our contact page at norsat.com. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you in the next training course.